Most engines do not die because of one dramatic failure. They die quietly, slowly, silently. Inside thousands of American vehicles right now, microscopic metal damage is happening every time the engine starts. Drivers do not hear it. The dashboard does not warn about it. And most owner manuals never mention it. Yet this hidden wear is what quietly destroys engines long before their true potential. The financial cost can be enormous: $3,000, $5,000, sometimes much more. But Japanese engineers and mechanics have long followed a simple method that dramatically reduces this silent damage and allows engines to reach extraordinary mileage. Today you will learn the principle that helps some Japanese engines reach 500,000 miles. To understand the secret, we first need to confront a reality that many drivers never hear. The majority of engine wear does not happen while you are cruising on the highway. It happens during the moments when lubrication is weakest, when the engine has not yet reached its stable operating condition, when internal metal surfaces briefly operate with incomplete protection. Inside every engine, there are hundreds of moving surfaces. Pistons travel up and down thousands of times per minute. Bearings support rotating crankshafts under extreme pressure. Camshafts open and close valves in perfect rhythm. These parts depend on a microscopic layer of oil that separates metal from metal. When that protective film is strong, the engine can run for hundreds of thousands of miles with very little wear. When that film is weak, the damage begins. Japanese engineers have studied this problem for decades. Their research revealed a simple truth that many drivers overlook. Engine life is not determined only by oil quality or maintenance intervals. It is strongly influenced by how gently the engine transitions from rest to stable operation. This idea is rooted deeply in the Japanese philosophy of Monozukuri, the belief that every machine deserves careful treatment and thoughtful operation. In this mindset, the driver becomes part of the engineering system. Japanese mechanics often follow what they quietly call the stability rule. The stability rule is simple: never demand full performance from an engine until its internal conditions are stable. At first, this may sound obvious, but in practice, many drivers unintentionally violate this rule every day. Think about the typical morning commute. The engine starts. Oil begins circulating. Within seconds, the car is moving. Within minutes, the engine is accelerating onto a busy road or highway. From the outside, everything feels normal, but internally, the lubrication system is still stabilizing. Oil pressure is building across complex passages. Temperatures are slowly equalizing. Clearances between metal components are changing as parts expand. During this brief window, the oil film is at its most vulnerable. Japanese mechanics understand that protecting the engine during this phase has a massive impact on total engine life. This is where the Japanese method begins. Instead of rushing the engine into heavy load, they allow the mechanical system to enter stability gradually. This is not about idling the engine for long periods. That is not necessary and can even waste fuel. The Japanese method focuses on gentle operation during the first phase of driving. Start the engine and allow it to run for a few moments, just enough time for oil pressure to fully circulate. Then begin driving calmly. Acceleration remains smooth and moderate. Engine speed stays relaxed. Heavy throttle is avoided. Within several minutes, oil temperature rises. Internal clearances stabilize. The oil film becomes strong and consistent. At this point, the engine is fully protected and capable of handling higher demand. This approach may only change the first 5 minutes of your drive, but over the life of a vehicle, those minutes accumulate into thousands of protected start cycles. And that is where the hidden benefit appears. Most drivers do not know this, but start cycles are one of the biggest contributors to long-term engine wear. Every time the engine cools and restarts, the lubrication system must rebuild its protective layers. Japanese engineers realize that if this period is handled carefully, the lifetime wear rate of the engine drops dramatically. This is one reason many Japanese taxis achieve incredible mileage numbers. Some surpass 400,000 miles. Others approach 500,000 miles with their original engines. The drivers are trained to respect mechanical stability. They accelerate gently after startup. They avoid sudden heavy load during early operation. They allow the machine to reach balance. Over hundreds of thousands of miles, this habit becomes a powerful longevity advantage. Another part of this method involves throttle discipline. In many vehicles, aggressive acceleration early in a drive forces high cylinder pressure before lubrication reaches optimal temperature. This increases friction on piston rings and cylinder walls. Japanese mechanics often advise drivers to think of the first minutes of driving as a mechanical warm introduction. The engine wakes up. Oil circulates. Temperatures rise slowly. Mechanical surfaces align into their intended operating state. Then performance can follow safely. At first glance, this practice seems small, almost trivial, but longevity is rarely created by dramatic actions. It is built through small habits repeated thousands of times. This is the philosophy of Kaizen, continuous improvement through small, consistent actions. When you combine gentle startup operation with proper oil changes, high-quality filtration, and attentive maintenance, the effect compounds. An engine that might normally experience significant wear by 150,000 miles can continue operating smoothly far beyond 300,000 miles, and under ideal conditions, even approach the legendary 500,000-mile mark. Please subscribe to our channel. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers this week. Now let us go deeper into why this method is so powerful. Inside your engine, the most sensitive surfaces are protected by what engineers call hydrodynamic lubrication. This occurs when moving parts ride on a pressurized film of oil rather than touching directly. When the engine is fully warm, this oil film is thick and stable. But when the engine is cold, oil is thicker and flows more slowly through narrow passages. Pressure takes time to stabilize throughout the system. During those early seconds and minutes, some surfaces briefly operate in what engineers call boundary lubrication. This means the oil film is thinner and microscopic contact can occur. Each event is extremely small, but multiplied across thousands of cycles, it becomes measurable wear. Japanese engineers focused heavily on minimizing these boundary lubrication periods. Gentle startup driving reduces mechanical load, while the lubrication system transitions into full hydrodynamic protection. Less pressure on pistons, less stress on bearings, less friction between rings and cylinder walls. The result is less microscopic damage accumulating over time. Many drivers believe that engine life is mostly determined by oil brand or fuel quality. Those factors matter, of course, but operational behavior is just as important. Two identical engines maintained with the same oil can experience very different lifespans depending on how they are driven during the first minutes of operation. This is one of the hidden longevity secrets that mechanics rarely explain. It is also rarely emphasized in owner manuals, yet it quietly shapes the lifespan of millions of engines. Japanese engineering culture places enormous value on respect for machinery. Machines are not disposable tools. They are precision systems designed to operate harmoniously for decades when treated correctly. When drivers adopt this mindset, something interesting happens. Engines remain smoother at high mileage, oil consumption often stays low, compression remains strong, and the vehicle continues delivering reliable transportation long after many others have reached the scrapyard. So if you want to move closer to that remarkable 500,000-mile goal, remember this simple principle. Protect the engine during its most vulnerable moments. Allow the lubrication system to stabilize. Drive gently during the first minutes. Let the machine reach its natural balance before demanding performance. This quiet discipline is practiced every day by experienced Japanese mechanics and high-mileage drivers. It costs nothing. It requires no special tools, and yet it can preserve thousands of miles of engine life that would otherwise disappear through silent internal wear. In the world of Japanese automotive longevity secrets, this is one of the simplest and most powerful rules. Respect the beginning of every drive. Your engine will repay that respect with years of reliable operation and mileage most drivers never thought possible. Please subscribe to our channel. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers this week.